Dear netizens, this movie is about Harvard. You know, Harvard, there have been a couple of things happening lately. One is the controversy between Donald Trump and Harvard, even leading to a lawsuit, and Harvard girls. The Chinese girl, Jang. I watched her go up to speak that day. And this is Xi Jinping's daughter. Xi Mingzi. Is she really in America? The controversy over Harvard. Harvard now is being attacked from both the left and the right. Online users in China have launched attacks. This Harvard girl was also attacked in the United States. They said she helped Donald Trump, which made people hate Harvard even more. Chinese student Jang held a ceremony at Harvard University on May 29 to protect our humanity. I would put it this way. Was this arranged by Harvard University? Did Harvard University know about this? The school must have known, but basically, this was recommended by the students in particular. Why did the students nominate someone like her to fight against Donald Trump? Want to expel foreign students from Harvard? She was talking about international diversity, the importance of Harvard, and its significance to the world. This is a kind of left-leaning speech. The first thing to understand, she spoke as a foreign student at Harvard who feels endangered. And she comes from a country that the United States considers an enemy. From China. Then, she was actually talking about things that are pretty leftist. Words about love. She started off with a joke. Use translation washing machine Chinese label to talk about differences in language and culture. Translating these things is really difficult. She emphasized the need to maintain diversity and internationalization. We should unite to tackle the world's problems. These are all matters of political correctness. Was the case before, but now, with Donald Trump, something they hate about MAGA. It's the complete opposite. She said that in the world, if any girl can't afford a tampon, she herself also feels poorer. If a girl is afraid to go to school because of harassment, is my dignity are trampled. This kind of spirit is the spirit of, when others suffer, I suffer as well. Don't say it's left glue, even if the left says it. This is actually what Chinese tradition teaches too. It's about feeling the poverty of others, as if it were your own poverty. That's what it is. Traditional Chinese spirit. Let me say it again. Those we call our enemies, they're people too. See their humanity. And we find our own humanity as well. This means that when you feel like someone is the enemy, yes, his enemy, he did something wrong, but the enemy is also a person. Everyone has their own humanity. It will reflect back on you no matter what. For example, everyone, even if he's a really bad person, generally speaking, he also has a lot of feelings and desires. Just like our own feelings and desires, he also has some of those too, unless someone is out of their mind. There are also people he loves. He also cares for the people he loves. That's it. You don't have to feel sorry for him. That cruel and inhuman side. But he's also a mirror. Something that reflects back on you. Because we're all human. These are typical DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion comments. she warned in her speech. In an interconnected world, originally with our global integration, the world was coming together, is now being replaced by division, fear, and conflict. She called on people to be inclusive. This is officially a left-wing statement. This is what people refer to as the left's idea of love. She didn't mention Donald Trump's immigration policies. But in an interview with the Associated Press, she said, now the government wants to threaten to expel all international students, Harvard internationals. That makes her feel worried too. In fact, if you ask her directly, that's what she means here. It means here, these people, as seen by all of American society, should these people be expelled? This person is Chinese. When you treat China as an enemy, can you treat this Chinese girl as an enemy too? What did she study at Harvard? I studied international development. International development. It's a program that leftists really like. How to develop those poor regions and help them rise on the Human Development Index, like education, access to clean water, rule of law, and environmental protection in these areas, improving development in poor regions. That's international development. She has 2 Chinese classmates who are hesitating. I go to Africa for intern. These things are supposed to be practiced in poor regions. Her speech. It went viral on the Chinese internet. People were clapping their hands. Those people praised her. They said they were filled with the light of idealism. What is the light of idealism? You criticize left glue. This includes DuFu. How can there be so many big houses? Protect everyone in the world and make them all happy. Here it is. How are there so many houses? Are you going to let everyone live in them alone? World. This is also the spirit of Buddhism. This one, if all beings. When you can't free sentient beings, let all beings become Buddhas, then you become a Buddha yourself. The spirit of Jesus Christ, with his own blood, to save everyone in the world, carrying the cross. It's a generation of humans all over the world, bearing the price of sin. They laughed at her. Why not eat minced meat? Say these things that love left glue. These Islamic people. Of course you want to kick him out. Right. Now they're harming us. To share our benefits. You have no sense of generosity. A lot of people scold me like this. You have no idea how miserable we are. How miserable. My fingernails are gone. My fingernail fell off. You feel sorry for those people. Those people starved from lack of food. How could I be worse? My fingernail fell off. Now, right here in our community, there were 2 parking incidents. How serious is that? Those people should just be left to die. Is that it? Honestly, you're completely out of touch. That's all to it. Promoting this is completely spiritual for me. This is entirely a spiritual matter for me. Internet users found out about Jiang Yurong's father. It is the China Biodiversity Conservation and Green Development Foundation. Jiang Zhiming, Executive Director of the Special Projects Fund. First of all, this is an NGO. What do NGOs do? Biodiversity and Green Development Fund. It can ask people to donate money. It pushes these projects forward, but it can also file lawsuits. It can act as a civil prosecutor, and that's a big issue. You know, first things first, donation agencies in mainland China, money is often embezzled. The Christians. But it can sue. It means it can sue those companies. And if you don't want to be sued, are you going to donate money to them? Is it easy for corruption to happen? Sure enough. Donate money to this foundation. Many of them are highly polluting companies. Just to buy, he is afraid. Actually, this person. What about the mainland? Xi Jinping is banning all NGOs. Every single NGO. They're all led by the Communist Party. Of course, some people suspected that his father was also a corrupt official. And did he use it? Talk about it in China. All the netizens flipped the narrative and started attacking Jang. All right. Green Development Council approved by State Council, National Public Welfare Fund. China Association for Science and Technology Board governs registration with the Ministry of Culture and Culture. According to the Green Development Council, self-published articles. Jiang Yu got into Harvard thanks to the vice chairperson of the Green Development Council and longtime Secretary General Zhou Jinping, recommended for admission as a long-term volunteer of the International Department of the Green Development Council. He wrote her a reference letter. She just used her status from the Green Hair Club. It said she was a long-term volunteer. To get into Harvard, you need a letter of recommendation. This wasn't a particularly strong recommendation, but it still counts because it has green. And it's also related to international development, especially since international development is an advantage. At least, it's beneficial. According to the paper, when she was admitted to Harvard in 2022, Jiang Zemin also specifically thanked Zhou Jinping for his recommendation. Her father thanked Zhou Jinping for his recommendation. Is this an abuse of privilege? His father's official status. First of all, is his father a corrupt official? Going to Harvard. What this Green Hair Club member might do could involve corruption. They must be a member of the Communist Party. Almost all senior officials are members of the Communist Party of China. Did you get into Harvard through privilege? Jiang Yurong responds to the controversy. She said that at least her parents are separated and divorced. She and her mother had little contact with her father. She wandered around with her mother. She was also bullied at school during junior high. She said her dad had nothing to do with her. She said that in her second year of high school, she was admitted to the most rigorous high school in the UK. There was no backdoor involved. I'll ask her which one it was. I'm familiar with UK schools. Which one was it? The strictest ones. In fact, the admissions process is quite strict. What do you mean by that? If you're not relying on academic performance to get into good schools, there's only one way. Just make a big donation from your family. Harvard, Oxford, Cambridge. You donated a library to it. Your kids can get in. So, you see people who are really awkward. I went to Harvard. Enter Oxford. You don't have to be so surprised. Like I said, if you go through the development office, you went to MIT to study history. Then it's easy for them to accept you, because nobody goes to MIT to study history. If you show up at MIT, that's all it takes. Then you get admitted to the University of Warwick to study political economy, and that's that. Chip Sao's descendants. And then she got some truly excellent grades and transferred to Duke in her junior year. Duke is a well-known university. When I applied to Harvard, 3 letters of recommendation. Both are mentors and job supervisors. You can only submit 3 letters of recommendation. The Green Development Foundation, where her dad works. I wrote her a letter of recommendation. But because Harvard requires letters of recommendation when applying, there is a limit to the number of recommendation letters. It wasn't submitted. I really do believe her first, actually. If there are other, better letters of recommendation, it might not be used. If the number of recommendation letters is limited to 3, this must be the case. Otherwise, it would be challenged. Chinese netizens dislike these kinds of people the most. Fake inspirational stories. Pretending to come from humble beginnings. Rise. They see them, for the most part, as privileged kids. Occupy those poor doors. The chance to move up in life. all by relying on their father's influence. Critics say that in Jang Yuron's speech, "We are all united, together as one," is very similar to China's long-standing idea of a community with a shared future for mankind. Well, this means that she said so. Does it echo Xi Jinping? I really don't think so. I really don't think so. She's a typical leftist. The idea that when others are suffering, I feel their pain too. In Chinese tradition, and in the West as well, there are plenty of such beliefs. Feeling what others feel. That's called empathy, indeed. Empathy. Community. Some users on the platform are questioning. This is from MAGA. How could Harvard choose someone from a non-governmental organization supported by the Chinese Communist Party, a Chinese student with connections, to give the graduation speech? MAGA says. This proves that Harvard is a lackey of the Chinese Communist Party. They found someone with such close ties to the Chinese Communist Party to speak out, representing Harvard graduates. Result. In the United States, MAGA used this to attack Harvard, because Harvard is currently in a lawsuit with the U.S. government. According to the Wall Street Journal, Harvard has long provided Chinese officials with opportunities to learn about governance. And not just for China, but for the world as well. All Hong Kong officials go to Harvard. It's gold-plated for 1 year. It's like the first overseas party school for China. For decades, China has sent thousands of senior officials go to an American college for management training or pursue graduate studies. It's all just fooling around. I know some people who went. In other words, those whose academic standing isn't high enough, degree too low, go to Harvard or come back from Oxford so they can feel more accomplished. But in reality, they don't learn anything. Last year, Shanghai Media Review 2014. If you want to be ranked overseas by the Communist Party of China, the top spot, it's the Kennedy Institute at Harvard. Because it's an institute for the study of governance. The Harvard Kennedy School, located in Cambridge. They started admitting Chinese students back in 1980. In the 1990s, they began sending officials there to study. About 20 senior officials each year. They offer scholarships and management training, teaching them how to handle crises and things like that, you know. How do they do that? Now, the Trump administration is simply revoking Harvard's authorization to admit foreign students. Let me tell you a few things about this university. Anti-Semitism, failure to identify terrorists, and cooperating with the Chinese Communist Party. Harvard is taking legal action, so their eligibility is currently being maintained. A former member of the political bureau of the Communist Party of China. This is the head of organizing. Li Yuanchao, who later became vice president, took part in 2002. Lu Ha, in 1995. I went there to get my master's. Trump's dedicated allies and supporters is another matter. The result is a MAGA attack. If you look at Harvard, it's not a lackey of the Chinese Communist Party. Far right. This woman, this crazy woman, call on Trump to expel Xi Jinping's daughter Xi Mingse. Says she still lives in Massachusetts, right now. This one, isn't that right? Lumo says, according to sources, the Chinese People's Liberation Army is on U.S. soil in Massachusetts, providing private security for Xi Mingse. But there's no evidence. Xi Mingse's appearance is kept confidential. No one knows if she makes a public appearance. I'll tell you what, she's ready to succeed. Indian media say there is currently no public information. Prove that Xi Mingse is in the New Yorker. It was reported in 2015. She finished Harvard. Just go back to China. It turns out she was born in 1992. I'm in my 30s. In 2010, she entered Harvard University under the pseudonym Chu Chen to study psychology. Graduated in 2014. In 2018, he went back to Harvard to pursue a doctorate. I'm done now. Lumo said she was at Harvard. But I don't think it's very reliable.